Hello and welcome to the Every Other Saturday podcast for a brand new episode this week where it's kind of at that point of the season now in it where there's not too much to play for. There isn't anything to play for apart from just get the games out of the way and get to the end of the season because it's been a pretty dismal season. All accounted for. We had one game, obviously, at the weekend there against Celtic. We'll briefly touch on that before we go into which is the main point of this episode, which is going through the squad. We like to do this, obviously, at the end of the season. Who would we keep for next season going into, which looks to be quite a revolution. New owners, as you can see for the hat, hopefully. New manager, of course, and hopefully just a new identity as a football club because we just need to get back to winning silver there. It's as simple as that. Who would we keep for that revolution next season? I don't think there'll be many, to be honest, for this list. Who would we
Only for
loan out?
me.
Aye, well, that's exactly it. Who would we loan out? There's obviously some decent talents in here that maybe haven't get the playing time that they've warranted during this season that could do with a loan to see how they handle it and who would we just flat out get ready. That is the question we need to ask ourselves. So, if you do enjoy this episode, if you could like, subscribe, and share, always very much appreciated. And if you can let us know who you would keep, sell, or loan out for going into next season in the comments below. Starting off with Nedim Bayrami, and it's pretty
In the bin.
easy.
In the bin.
He's going to be sold. He's not really been the player that we thought he was going to be. Just a mentality as fragile as anything, really. Doesn't really looks like to have any heart to play for the club. And when he's been given opportunities, he's not really delivered, has he?
He's not delivered at all, you know what I mean? Yeah, again, another one you're hyping yourself up for, thinking, right, this could be a decent player. Member of the team. He was wanting to come here, he was wanting to make this move, and then he's just not really done anything, has he, at all, being here?
Yeah.
He's a sell for me.
Aye, I think it's pretty sensible to say that because he's came in for which is a decent fee considering last season we were penny pinching on how much money we could spend on players. We spent 3.5 million on this guy. He's not been able to be the player that we thought he was going to be. We thought he was going to be the creative midfielder that we were crying out for goals and assists, but he's not been able to stake a claim in the team. He's been in and out, and he's been just a failure. To be brutally honest, I think when you look at
It's
the teams
honest
that he's
it.
played for in Italy, like I think it was Sassuolo and teams like that, he's not expected to be the main guy. Whereas we sign him to be one of the main guys at a big club, and just not up to the demands, isn't Nadim Bayrami?
And yeah, also you think as well when he first was getting into the team, whatever, he was sort of getting playing out of position. You think you want to see him more in the middle and that, and then he's not, as you say, just not done anything at all, really. To
Funnily
justify
enough, I
the
would actually say
yep.
he's better out wide.
Outright, I know. But as I say, he's just not done anything to justify the fee that we paid.
Yep, that's as simple as that. And then Adam Devine, a player that I was looking through the squad and forgot he was even still at the club, on loan at Queen's Park this season. He's played here and there, but it's time to stop the loans with the guys that just aren't good enough and get rid of them. He's not going to be good enough. He's not going to play for Rangers, so we may as well just get rid.
Get rid of him. Get rid of
Um,
him.
so not much to say there because I don't think he's
Next
even
is a
been
keep,
involved this
obviously.
season. Obviously next one, Bailey Rice. He has to be a keep. He's obviously been more involved recently under Ferguson. He's been kind of in the squads all season, but never really got the opportunity. Started some big games. Athletic Club at home, especially, was one of his biggest starts. He's coming on to the pitch near enough all the games now as well. So I think with Bailey Rice, it's just about getting him developed throughout pre-season. New manager will come in, take a look at him. I think we've got two decent midfielders that kind of do the same role, that are both obviously Scottish, and Conor Barron and Bailey Rice. They can both do the same sort of thing. I think Bailey Rice has maybe got a bit more to his game in terms of going forward and being a bit more dynamic in the middle of the pitch. But I've liked what I've saw so far. It's just about seeing that for a continued period now
Period
through
of
next
time.
season.
Absolutely. And the main thing as well, obviously, I don't know if you noticed, anytime the boy seems to play, he seems to get battered in the head with the ball.
I
You
think
know
that's
what I
every
mean?
time he's came on.
Seems to get walloped in the head with the ball. As I say, he's young. Quality will obviously be there, as you say, similar to Barron, but I think he actually obviously has the potential to go on and be even better at Barron. And he's just, as you say, one for next season that you hope can kick on and actually get a place in the team. It'd be
Yep.
nice, as I say, to see. one of the youngsters actually do that for a consistent period of time. Obviously, instead of just being in and out, I think he's one of them that could potentially do it. As I say, if he's not getting battered in the head with a ball, like he is every
Aye.
every game.
If he's not getting a career-ending injury every time he steps on the
Aye,
pitch, he'd be all right. But I think whoever the new manager is will have a decent player in Bailey Rice for next season, just like they will for Connor Barron. I think Barron's season has been a bit mixed. Very
mixed.
good start to his life as a Rangers player. Highly thought of. He kind of dropped out the team and he's came back in the last few months now. And I think even touching on the game at the weekend there, I thought he was one of the main standouts for our team. He looked like he was committed to being a Rangers player, which is all you really ask for at a benchmark level, and let everything else kind of take care of itself. On the field, but I think he's had a good season. To be honest with you, I think he's one that can actually hold his head high. He's developed his game, and he's obviously playing with a big club now. So he's been challenging himself in Europe. So I think Connor Barron next season will be looking to see more for him. But I've got no complaints with him really this season.
No complaints whatsoever. As you say, one of the highlights when he first came in, one of the players that everyone was raving, ranting about. And then also had a wee bit of a dip off in form, but as you say, you expect that. And one for next season, obviously, where you hope he can kick on as well, because there's going to be competition there. I don't expect Conor Barney to be a starter. I expect him to be a good option, but if he's one of the starters for next season, I think
Hmm.
he's also not a bad player or anything, but I do think we've got a problem with Conor Barnes still
Yeah,
wanting him to start.
that's probably the only complaint I would say is we can't be affording to start him every game. He's fine to be a rotation option. He's fine to be part of the squad and be one of those players. But I think we need to be looking up a level for starting players. Ben Davies is still at the club. He's
Aye.
coming back after winning the league title with Birmingham. Obviously they're going up to the championship. They've got boatloads of cash, so Birmingham send the checkbook our way and we'll give Ben Davies over.
Might as well just get his pal out of the way as well.
Aye,
They
where is
can,
he? Where is he?
yeah,
Can I find him?
aye, because it'd be a double for us if we could get rid of the two of them.
Nah, there
Like
he's
he's
there.
there
Came
is, yeah,
down.
he's hiding, like he was for the majority of his time at Rangers. I know, get just the two of them have to go. As I said, Ben Davies seems to be a key fixture for Birmingham, so you'd hope they want to take him and take his mate with him as well.
Nah, I mean, Kieran Dowell's apparently been really well thought of out there, playing more in an attacking role outright, wide side of the pitch. He's contributed with goals and assists. This must be just a totally different player because the Kieran Dowell I saw just never looked arsed for playing for Rangers. So, again,
Like
looking at Connor Barron's attitude, he might not be the most technical player in the world, but he cares to play for the club. Kieran Dowling might have those technical attributes, but he doesn't gain a rat's arse about playing for the
that,
club, and that's the
that's
total comparison there.
that's like a lot of them in this changing room for me. A lot of them are just here for the dough, and then obviously bounce. They don't actually commit themselves, and a lot of that, as I say, and a lot of them that are like that are decent enough players. You talk about Conor Barn there, like just a hard worker, graft, and I just get these two going.
Aye, and then Butland's is maybe a difficult one because he's
It's a
played a lot
mixed
of the
one, but
season,
it's
but he's been poor a lot of the season as well. And I think I would put him in sell for that. I think he's had a good year when he came in initially.
mm,
I thought he was fantastic for us and winning as many points with some of the saves he's made. But this season he's regressed just so far down the pecking order where Liam Kelly's now starting like massive European ties over him, old firm games and stuff. So it's been a difficult season for Jack Butland in terms of just some of the shots that he's facing and letting into the goals
terrible.
poor, and he's not dominating the box like he did last season. I think there might be an opportunity, new coach and stuff, fresh slate for Jack Butland. I do think he's a good character to have around the club. I do think he's a
Mm.
decent enough goalkeeper, but realistically, you're wanting your number one to be
It's
somebody you can rely on.
Yeah, that's the main thing there. As I say, I thought we should have got rid of him at the time when bids were coming in for him. Now I think I think he'll obviously still maybe get a decent wee bit for him, but it's just going to be, I don't know. I think he's one of them that'll probably will end up staying. I can just see like the club aren't really. I think your keepers are probably going to be the same keepers next season. As you say, fresh manager coming in might want to give him a chance to prove himself again. And as you say, he's been a gentleman off the park. He's carried himself. You would want a Rangers player to carry himself for me off the park. It's a hard one, but I'm probably with you, mate. As I say, as you say, he was great following season, all that kind of stuff. And this season, it's just not been good enough.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it for Jack Butland. Jose Cifuentes, another
I
player that's
forgot even all about him.
still contracted to the club. Exactly, I forget about half of these players when we're looking through the squads, but he's been on loan to Aris and Greece, I think. Just a guy
Some
that
life
we
in
were
it.
told was revolutionise our midfield, and
Aye.
this is him now. So he'll come back to the club, whether he does or not, or Rangers just cancel his contract is a totally different story. But he'll not play for Rangers again. Clinton Inciala, I think, is a player that's obviously going to stay. We've
The
brought
future.
him in to develop him. He's had to wait quite a while for his debut
Mm.
this season, but when he came into the squad, he looked like a young player. He looked like a guy that would make mistakes, but he also looked like a guy with high promise as well. So, Clinton Inciala, it's all about him developing all his game next season
Well,
again to be one of your centre half partners for whoever we bring in.
for whoever we bring in, he is say just a young, another one of the young ones that you've got to keep and hopefully develop and get the profit for. On the other hand, the man we're about to talk about is it's a must now, really, in it. Somehow he misses the easiest ones, and then, as we say, just gets the weirdest goals. But it's time for Cyril Dessers, I believe, in the summer to move on and leave Rangers.
This is still difficult. I can't believe how difficult this is to say because he scored
It's
25 goals this season
it's
and such a poor season for us. And he scored at the weekend there against Celtic. He took that goal really well. But
beautifully.
then you look at the chance that he misses in the Celtic game where the ball comes straight to him and he doesn't even connect with the ball. I think if we want to be successful, Cyril Dessers gets sold and we buy another first starter striker that can bang them in. But again, I wouldn't be
I am.
surprised if he stayed as well. So I
It's,
think
it's,
there's money to be made with Cyril Dessers after this season, which is probably the reason why I would sell him. But him being a part of the strikers that we have available is again I wouldn't mind too much. But I think he'd still get a decent market value. And he said, especially after the past couple of seasons with the stats that he's been able to put up, you're going to be in the ballpark about 5-6 million for him. So I think that's money that we can spend elsewhere.
you think we'll get that? We like to know. Do you know what I mean? No, listen, don't give us a six, give us a two. You know what I mean? That's the way we are. Obviously, that's going to change in the summer. But I mean, he's another one, as I say, similar to Butland, where you can see maybe. I just think depends on the manager, who the manager's going to be, and does he want Dessers to be a part of his plans? For me, you have to get rid of him, as you say, with the stats. Like, I mean, 25 goals in a horrendous season for Rangers.
Hmm.
You would. I mean, if I feel like if it was Morelos, people would still be looking to. Do you know what I mean? Pop him at the door, and you would because you want the profit, you want the money, but. It's I just feel like it's time for Dessers, mate. It's time to be we just move him on. And if he stays for me, he's got to be number two. He can't be number one. I know 25 goals is fantastic, what have you, but you just want a proper goal scorer, man.
Because he should realistically have about 125
It's
goals this season with the chances that he gets.
it's it's
He's
ridiculous, man.
he's frustrating.
I mean, again, another frustrating one for me. Somebody I was expecting a hell of a lot more from my Brazilian Donny, Danilo. It's it's one where you've got to. Have you got to move him on, or do you maybe give him a chance to get fit? And
I
obviously,
think the
he had
best
some
thing for
injury.
Danilo that is obviously is I would imagine he's fit. He's involved in all the squads and stuff. Barry Ferguson just it just seems to love Cyril Dessers and never ever wants to take him off. I mean, you look at the game at the weekend, Czerny
That's
gets took off so Egerman can play right wing, even though you've got Dessers where you could just swap him off. Like a question for a different day, but I think Danilo was signed to a 5 year contract in 2023. He's still got years on that contract. I think it would take a decent offer to come in anyway. Whether that he's wanting that offer at the moment is a different story. I think
this is
Danilo will probably stay for another
that's what I'm
season at
saying.
least.
Got to be thinking me here because you can't just get rid of days. As
You
low as I'd love
can't,
to get
aye.
rid of one and keep Rice and Igaman, that'd be about it. But you have to obviously think about the fact that you're no it's no career mode. You can't shove everyone out in the one window. And I think Danilo is somebody where I would like to see him hopefully
See
get
when Danilo gets a run of games, like when Dessers was just bombed out the team and we had him and
uh,
Egerman up front, we brung Hadji back into the fold. Danilo was getting a goal contribution every game, like an assist or a goal, and then he just gets on the pitch for about 5 minutes now. I actually do feel like sorry for him
terrible for
because
him.
he shouldn't be just getting five
I
minutes
can't.
here and there.
What was the game where he was going to get brought on? I think, and then and then I just remember
I
him
think it was
hanging
the
in the
Fenerbahce game, which
actually, and
aye,
he was
because
raging and hanging like,
Czerny stayed on eventually that game.
even Czerny at the weekend there and all was
Mhm. But
amazing,
that's what
and
you
I
want
don't
to
blame
see.
him. No, that's what you do want to see, as I say, but Czerny shouldn't be coming off in the first place. He said there, do you know what I mean?
Aye.
No, I would keep Danilo, as I say, my man, do John Sterling there as well. I'd be keeping him as well.
Aye,
Another
I
one.
think it was going to be one or the other. One of Dessers or Danilo will leave in the summer.
Yes, yes.
We'll wait and see who it is. But aye, Dujon Sterling's not going to go anywhere. He's got a year out injured, so aye, obviously all the best to him. Again, another good run in the squad where I thought he was definitely one of our better players in that role that he was playing in the back line. Finlay Curtis, I think, is probably due a loan. As much as I would like to see him playing, I think we're going to bring in players and he's just maybe going to get lost in the shuffle a wee bit for next season.
Similar
Loan him
to
out, see how he does. If he does brilliantly, maybe bring him back in January, assess things, but probably the best option at the moment for him, I would say.
similar to Lowry in it, really. You don't want that kind of, do you know what I mean, player to get lost in the shuffle. Young man looks like a great footballer.
Mhm.
Somebody I would want to see, as I say, just being there, similar to Bailey Rice. I just feel like it's important to have players for the academy actually come into the first team and actually stake a place instead of just in and out and then they're sort of League One teams.
Yeah.
It'd be nice. It'd be nice to see it. Alone would probably do him fantastically well. I mean, you look at Leon King as well. How many times did we do these lists and say
Oh well, there you
needs to
go.
get
I've
promoted?
completely forgot to even put Leon King on this because just
Yeah, that's
forgot
what I'm
about
on
him.
about. Another one where you're like, he's not going to develop here. They need to go out on loan and get some game time. If he's going out on loan, he needs to go to a team where they're going to be competitive, and it can't just be loaning him out to some lower team in England. You know what I mean? Where they don't really do it, and he has to go to a team for me. I think that him at a Hearts or something like
Maybe
that.
a lower tier. Like you could even look at Falkirk coming up. I mean, he could probably fit
Aye,
in like a glove there.
Falkirk, maybe Kilmarnock or what is it? I know they're losing a lot of players,
That's
so
where we should be developing players. We should be spreading out players to the other teams in the league to then obviously make them a bit stronger to then beat our rivals in essence because they can't then play against us. So I think a loan for Finlay Curtis coming back. I think hopefully he's going to be a guy that will wear the jersey for the first team in due time, but he's still very young, of course. So we'll see. Yanis Hadji's a bit of a difficult one now. His contract's running out.
time.
I think
It's
it's
time.
probably time that he goes. Aye.
I'm a massive Hadji fan, but it's time.
Aye, I would say it's probably time for him to go. I think he's been at the club now since 2019. Obviously, he's had that loan out to Alaves. He had the falling out with Michael Beale. He's had that long injury as well. I think it's probably time for him to go. He signed that new contract, I think, when Beale came in. And I don't think we can afford to lose him for free because with the name that he's got, he's always going to generate interest
It's
and stuff.
always
So I think it's probably this summer. I think we offered him a new contract. By all accounts, he didn't want to sign it. So I think Hadji
I
will
just
he'll be
think,
out.
as I say, I've always been a fan of Hadji. I think he's a decent enough player, and at times it's been obviously unfair on him for me. I think obviously
Hmm.
not getting in when he did and all that, and then get loaned out. Um, I just think it's time. He's been here too long, and as you say, the name on the back of the shirt, so we're looking to get a wee bit of profit on it.
Nah, I think that's probably the end game for Hadji. He's been a good servant to the club, to be fair, when he's put the jersey
Absolutely,
on, so I can't complain about that. But we'll see what happens with him in the summer. I think Hamza Igaman is somebody who we
like
desperately
definite.
want to keep on developing and actually maybe play him up front for once, maybe give him a start every now and then would be great with the new manager, whoever year. Because this guy is a gem of a player. You can see just by looking at him when he takes a ball on how comfortable he is in tight situations and how physically like great he is as a footballer. So I think he's definitely stagnated in the past couple of months again, not getting the regular game time, not playing up front. Barry
Not going to
Ferguson, I
help,
think,
is it?
has handled Hamza Gamani pretty poor, to be honest, in his time at the club. He should be a guy that we're developing, playing all the time, but for whatever reason, he's only getting on in the second half. So I think he'll definitely have people looking at him and interested in him, but I think another season at Rangers will do him the world of good.
I think another 1 or 2 seasons at Rangers would do him a world of good. I just would hate to sell him too early and then it doesn't plan out for him. I think he just needs to be up here and develop. As you say, he's got a massive hard on for Dessers in it really, so he's not getting any chance to really. It's the same as Danilo, not getting any chance at all really, get any game time
Yeah.
really proper. But no, Hamza's one definitely keep. And
Yep.
then obviously we've got the divided figure here, haven't we? Do you know what I mean? Loved, hate.
Aye.
It's if he is here next season,
Then what's the point of
you
having a
can
new
you can write it
manager? What's
off.
the
You
point
can
of having new owners? What's the point of anything?
that's it because there's just no chance for me us winning anything with this guy. He's still here.
The thing is though, when you look at, he's probably still the highest paid player at the club. Who's really going to take on his wages for a year? Like, who's going to take all that on? His contract's obviously out at the same time as Hadji's is out. He's on a lot of cash. He
Mm.
probably wants to stay for his last year at Rangers as well. But I think it's time. The fans have been so divided on Tavernier, and it's debates that you'll have forever about this
I
guy.
mean,
But it's
perfect
time to go.
perfect example there. Obviously, game of the weekend, last couple of minutes of the
Just a
game.
pure
You know what I
brain
mean?
fart.
That can't continue to happen. And as I say, we've said everything we've said, obviously, on the guy, but I just it's time. And if
The
he's
thing
still
is,
here,
you just greet him, you shake his hand, you thank him for his service, and he leaves the club. That is all that has to happen.
yeah.
But I think Rangers will keep him. I
Feels,
do. I think we would want to sell him, but I think he'll stay.
feel like somewhere in Turkey or Saudi or
Like,
something.
I
Like,
just see out the rest of your career just without any stress. He's been up here for 10 years getting pelters. Just go away and
aye.
ride off into the sunset. Go and play in Cyprus with Goldson or something. Aye, but I do think it's probably time for Tavernier to leave the club. I think you're seeing that position's just been held ransom for 10 years now. We need, if we're going to get a new era at the club with a different vision, it has to start with getting rid of the guys that have failed here for that long.
Need a new face, the new face, really. Do you know what I mean? He's been the face of failure, so
Yeah, and that's
need
the
somebody
thing.
to
As
success.
much as you can score all these goals and get all these personal accolades, if you don't win trophies at Rangers, then it's going to be a failure of a term, and it has been for Tavernier. Next one is Yefty. Yefty will stay, but oh my God, him at the weekend, he was terrible. I think we've seen Yefty the second half of the
Scandalous.
season totally regress again for where he was at the start of the season. He's not confident in taking MD on. He's not confident in putting balls into the box. He reminds me of just a lot of Barisic. He just gets the
I was
ball and passes it away. He doesn't use any of the attributes that made him look like an exciting player anymore, and he just looks like a player that's lacking in major confidence. But deep down within that player, I know there is still that guy there.
there's,
So
I mean, you took the words out of my mouth there. Do you know what I mean? I was about to call him the Brazilian Barisic. Only we would get that.
mhm.
But I know, I mean, he's still young, still a lot of time to develop. Obviously, when they have the thing with Chelsea and all this kind of stuff, please give us the money. For me
Yeah,
personally, I would happily. I mean, for him and Yilmaz, any of the two of them, for me, I'd get shot at him obviously. But he's got, is he only like 20 or 21 or
I
something?
think
Like
he's
he's
only 21. He's still
a
again. It's
lot of time to
difficult.
develop the game. Do you
Aye,
know what I mean? A lot of time to develop and still, as I say, second half of the season, game of the weekend, it was I mean, it's been shocking compared to his.
aye.
It's been a good start, obviously, and then he's digressed, but still young, still time to develop. And you'd hope the new coach that comes in can hopefully get the best out of him. Make him a hell of a lot more defensively aware would be nice instead of
Yeah.
just bombing forward all the time. It seems, obviously, I know it's the modern game, whatever you, but I do like my fullback still to be switched on defensively. Um, and he's obviously when you're going to keep, as I say, you can't just get rid of everyone in one window. I still would keep him.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think he's a guy that we can maybe develop the same level as Igaman over the next year or so. So, Yefty will stay. Casemiro obviously in for the cold. He was on the bench at the weekend, back for his long-term setback, and he was a very exciting player for me. I thought he looked pretty good anytime he played. Can play a multitude of positions. If the opportunity came to take him on a loan again, I wouldn't have any problems with it because we can't just go and spend money on everybody. I think somebody that maybe fills out the squad a wee bit on loan, that you know he's been here, he can kind of continue his development. I wouldn't mind, but you got to factor in the fact that he's had that major injury. Is he
injury.
going to be the same kind of player?
Mhm.
I think it might benefit him staying in the same place with the same facilities and stuff to get back to it. I wouldn't be opposed to another loan for Casemiro personally.
No, I wouldn't as well, mate. As I say, it was a cruel injury that happened to him at the time. It's just again, you obviously can play multiple positions and what have you. You're going to have to because nobody else is getting that right back position because of
No,
your
no,
boy
that's the
here.
thing. He should be if we're selling Tavernier, he should be in line with somebody else that we bring in to
Him and
be
Ster
the
I
right
mean,
back.
him and Sterling, as I say, should be should be in there for it. I wouldn't go be against another loan for him as well, mate. I wouldn't be paying a hefty fee to say
No,
we
that's
can't,
the thing. We
can't be
can't make
doing
the
that.
same mistakes as we've made before. We need to just get this guy in if we're going to get him on loan again. I think he deserves it. I think he was good when he came into the club. He's been robbed of like half a season where he could have been a standout player for us. But I think he deserves another opportunity to put on the shirt again. So a loan deal for him, I think, would kind of suit all parties. Leon Balogun again. I don't think he's ever let us down.
Never.
But in the same kind of standing as like Tavernier or stuff, do you give him another year? Do you get rid of that experience? Do you keep him about?
Hmm.
I
Well,
don't.
unlike
I still think there's a position for Balogun. I
hmm,
do, but it's like the
there's
injuries are kind of catching up with him now. Is it worth keeping him around? I don't know.
I mean, unlike Tavernier, he's good. You know what I
Unlike
mean? He's a,
Tavernier, he never lets us down.
you know what I mean? So, I mean, another year, and as I say, I don't know if he wants to get in the coaching side, would be decent for him also to get involved maybe with the youth team or what have you.
I think when we've had to rely on him too much, is the problem this
Aye,
season. At 37, even this year with a year extension, he shouldn't have been playing as much
as
games
much
as
as
he
he is.
was, and massive games that he was thrown into. We need to have two settled centre half partners next season with a couple of decent options off the bench and rotation options as well. I think Balogun is fine, even as a fifth choice centre half. He knows he's not going to play, but he just loves the club and can help
Mm.
everybody around him. I don't think that would be a bad idea. Liam Kelly, of course, will stay. He's came in
Uh,
the last couple of months. He's done well. I can't really fault him. He's a pretty able deputy. Mason Munn, similarly, again, he's going to be the third goalkeeper, so
mm.
that'll be him in there. He'll stay.
I would,
Rabbi Matondo is still at the club,
oh, Jesus
and
Christ.
I would imagine they'll look to get rid of him further again. Again, just that when you look at the players in the cell, some of the disaster signings that we've made is just it's criminal.
But if you're the players, you'd be laughing in the bank, wouldn't you? You know what I mean? You're all the way to the bank with the money.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, Ross McClaw, I
and not
mean,
he doesn't even get a loan. He is Ross
he,
McCausland is pish.
ah,
He's not a Rangers level player.
no.
Just get rid of him.
I mean, you might as well just go into Diomande there as well, as he's another one. It's a keep for me.
Aye, I
It's
mean, I think Diomande will have people interested
over.
in this summer.
Obviously, yeah, well, absolutely, it'll be him and Raskin. They'll be interested in the two of them, but out of the two of them, I just feel like I'd be keeping Diomande. I think it's time Raskin's on that thing, where he's breaking into that Belgian national side, and
Raskin's on the trajectory where he's now get what 3 Man of the Match awards in the last 3 Old Firm games. He's in the Belgium
mm,
team. Everything that he's doing to a personal level is brilliant. The only thing you can really do is give him the new contract and make him the captain for next season for us to see his future here. But I think we really need to cash in while we can on
well, it's
Diomande
hot.
or Raskin this summer. But Diomande's been fantastic. He's one of my favourite players to watch.
Mm.
I think he's added that bit of bite into his game where he's quite a nasty bastard now, which
Aye,
is nice to
that's what I like
see.
to
So
see.
I think Diomande's he's been good this
My
season.
only, my only thing with Diomande is that, you know what I mean, anytime it's when he's going forward, and like, he just seems to like slip all over the place, man.
He's
He broke
just
his leg there in the weekend.
I know actually watching that goal back. But Diomande he'll be a good player for us next season if he stays. But I think he'll generate a decent bit of cash if we to get rid of him as well, which is the main thing. At the end of the day,
Cortez had,
Oscar Cortez will be at the club. We've
yeah,
obviously signed him. I think it's now or never with this guy. Give him a
aye,
good pre-season. At least give him the last couple of games of the season to play. And hopefully we've got a good player on our hands. Rafael Fernandez has been a waste of time.
time.
Unfortunately, a guy with some good
Done
attributes as
more,
well, but
done more appearances at the charity events than his on the park, which is a shame for the guy.
just
Um,
it never really was going to work out. Unfortunately, Nico Raskin, as we touched on there,
yeah,
has been the standout of the season. He's been fantastic. He won the Player of the Year. He's been a fan's favourite all season. He's got the captain's armband when Tavernier was out the team. So, like we just said there, if you're looking to sell him, you're getting a good fee this summer. But if you're to keep him, you've got a fantastic player as well that will help you towards your quest of winning trophies. So, I would like to. I would like to keep Raskin. You always want to keep your best players, but if the
the
uh,
fee,
you
if the
can't
fee
really
comes
turn
in,
down
man.
money here, which is a problem. And it's what we're kind of aiming to do. We need to be the club that brings in players, develops them, sells them at a profit, and then gets the next Nico Raskin in our midfield. So aye, we'll see what happens with him in the summer. I think Robbie Fraser will go out on
No
loan again.
alone.
I think he probably might go back to Livingston if they go up. Um, he's done pretty well there by all accounts. So aye, we'll see his development for next season. Robin Propper will leave because
In
he's
the
just been a
bin.
waste of time. He'll go back to Holland. He's been a waste of time. John
Keep
Suter,
Suter.
I think, will stay because he's John Suter is fine as an
Aye.
option, not as the main centre half.
No.
That's the problem there.
I said that's what I want about. I said that at the time, and then everybody was like, "Oh, whatever." I said it at the time. He's a good option to have, but he's no a main centre half for me at Rangers. It's just, aye,
It's when you
you know what
look
I
at
mean?
when if you remember when Goldson's contract was running out, and we're like, oh, well, we re-sign Goldson, we've got Suter to come in. Suter never felt like the Goldson replacement. He never felt like
It's,
the guy that was going to play all these games and be the leader in the defence. So I think that still stands the day. We need at least two new centre halves and somebody that's going to
sure,
be
yeah.
commanding to play because I mean Robin Propper coming in to replace Goldson's a bit of a disaster really in it. So Tom Lawrence will leave. He's just kind
In
of
the
went
bin.
missing the last couple of weeks. He's not been in any of the squad, so
It's
he'll
couple of,
leave. Václav Cherny, I really,
he
really
would
do
like to.
hope we can keep him. I think if the money's right, go
Mhm.
for it. What would you imagine? Maybe 5, 6, pushing 7 million for this guy in his prime.
I'm not paying
So
that.
it
I'm not.
depends. I think we've got players that we can offer Wolfsburg as well. I mean, Nedim Bayrami's there.
Oh,
He can go
ah,
over there.
well, yeah. For me, 4 or 5, man. But obviously they're going to want to milk it, obviously, because he had a decent enough season. My only criticism of him is sometimes he can be a bit selfish, repetitive on the
He's a
same
bit
things.
wasteful at times.
That's my only criticism of him. It's just another one of the lone players I think that's come here and he's done well and he'll probably get sold to a club that isn't us really probably. And
Aye.
then obviously your boy Yilmaz, I just think it's time to. He's
I
a,
think
I
if
would
you're
like
going to keep Yefte, I think there's no point in just having the same left backs
no.
where you can
There's
really
no.
rely on one or the other.
I,
So,
as I say, I thought he threw it in the European game. I thought he could have continued and he just threw it in. And he's just been too injury prone, whatever. I would just like to, as I say, Yefte number one. Number two, whoever else, but you can't have a two of them thing together. Although you could try put one at the right as if it's tried or whatever, but I just think it's time to just get rid of him.
nah, no, I think it's probably time he gets linked and rumoured moves away all every transfer window. So I think this probably will be the time where he'll maybe go back to Turkey. I think I've liked Ridvan when he's played. I think he's decent enough,
Absolutely,
but you
I
can't
like him.
rely on him to be that
No,
guy all season, which is unfortunate. But that kind of rounds everyone up. But we're keeping maybe less
half
than
the
half
team.
of the squad there.
But if I had it my way, personally, I'd probably throw majority of them in the bin. As I say, and just keep Hamza and whoever, but
Mhm.
Diomande probably and Raskin. But disastrous, mate. An absolute disastrous season. You're just left here now waiting on the confirmation of manager and the boys coming in properly. And then we can get the ball rolling proper. Obviously, I've kept my eyes on a couple of players who I would like to see potentially sign. We obviously do those kind of videos. We'll probably end up doing one of them.
Yeah.
Couple of Leeds lads that I could see getting sent up here. I think it would do them a world of good, and it would do us a world of good. But it's all excitement here for now, obviously, until we come back.
And that's it. I mean, there probably, I don't think there's any real point for doing many podcasts until the end of the season to see what happens with the takeover and stuff.
It's
And of course, who we are looking at possibly signing. The videos are always pretty fun to do. So, aye, I think it's been a poor season. Again, we've been here to document the full thing.
disastrous.
Again, it's just going to go into that 24, 25 folder on the YouTube, and it's never going to be watched again because it's just been an absolute disaster. So hopefully when we come back and do the podcast and stuff, there's more to cheer about. There's more to be excited about because, like, even looking back to last summer, I think we kind of seen this coming. This was going to happen. We were going to sack the manager, and aye, half the players, of course, phoned it in. So aye, going through like, the tier list, it kind of leaves us we needing like, a goalkeeper, a right back, a couple of centre halves, a left back, a couple of midfielders, a couple of wingers, maybe a striker. So aye, there's
Could be.
definite work to do here for the new owners and,
If,
and a new manager
aye.
as well.
And as I say, if we're going to do it next season, the number one thing, as I say, we have to get sorted is two at the back consistent, two proper defenders at the back consistent.
No,
Because
no, just
that's
stop fanning
you're not
about
going to
with
win it.
everyone.
You're not going to win a league title subbing your centre halves all the time. And obviously
Happens
most
too
of them get
often.
injured. It's too often. We need a consistent defence, and then we'll see where we go for there. As I say, defence when defending proper, well, and then going forward, you know what I mean? We need so much, mate. It's just been an absolute disaster. And as we say, we'll look at the players who we've both looked at and think maybe they could come up here and do a job. Because
I
these
know
players haven't been good
the rumour
enough.
mill will start pretty soon, so I'd imagine there'll be plenty to talk about in the next
Aye.
couple of weeks when the season's over. So until then, we'll be back with another video again, looking at the end of the season, looking towards hopefully a takeover, new manager, and getting ready for next season. So we'll see you then.